What's up, guys? Welcome to Chop It Up, presented to you by Intuit, the makers of QuickBooks, Mint, and TurboTax.
All the apps you need.
And again, we do have a special guest host, my man, Julian Mitchell.
Brandon, what up, man?
How are you? What's goody?
Great to be here.
All right. Well, let's jump right into it, okay? Let's jump right into it. Today, we're talking about cultural phenomenons.
Okay.
And we're starting off with Stranger Things,
Yeah.
okay? Season 3 is coming
Ultra.
out. Nostalgia Ultra. This is as if Virgil Abloh created a sci-fi series,
That's a
right?
great way to put
and he
it.
just put off-white on it, and it's like sci-fi quotation marks, right?
Cereal.
Waffle, everything. And so today we're talking about all the collaborations. Like Stranger Things itself is an influencer. It is the biggest influencer
I mean, they have brands
in the world right now.
Nike, Coca-Cola, Burger
Nike,
King.
Coca-Cola, Burger King, Legos, Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
New Coke. There's new Coke this season. And it's just crazy how all this stuff is going. And then all the characters are now the most famous people on Instagram and social media. They have all the top commercial deals and what have you. It's crazy.
If you are a consumer product brand that has any direct tie to nostalgia, this is your opportunity to capitalize on the biggest cultural phenomenon, arguably, on TV.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have more brand deals than me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous.
That's a lot of brand deals.
That's a lot of brand deals. Brandon makes the bulk of his bread on Brandon dollars. I'm trying to say, that's for John. That's for you, John.
to do some Stranger Things.
We're going to keep that one. We're going to keep that one. So we were talking off camera a little bit about this, but I'm just curious of just like what does this mean for the future? And like, should people play into nostalgia for their business?
Yeah, I mean, I think to answer that question, nostalgia is always a great play because nostalgia has a natural way of connecting demographics, right? Generations. You have past and present. So when you watch shows like Stranger Things, as we were talking about before, you obviously feel the throwback, vintage nostalgia of it. But there's also this element of futurism to it, or connecting younger generations, because you realize that things we fascinate over now are one day going to be nostalgia.
Wow.
Right? Or like are one day going to be these same things.
We
so it's
getting
like
old.
the gift that keeps on giving. No, but you reflect and then you realize that it's all in cycles. Like all these things happen in cycles. So I think nostalgia is always a great play because you pull on different moments and experiences and memories that people have and relationships people have to brands and products that they've loved, right? I think what it means on a bigger scale is that now brands have to, it's proving that brands need to truly become embedded in the lifestyle of the audience in order to truly be successful. Like, you have to find out how your brand has a deep personal connection to the individuals who use it. Like, gone are the days of just saying, oh, this is great for you as a sneaker or whatever. You have to literally show people how it plays a part in their life and how it's been a part of their life, their whole life. I think that's how you show people that a product is valuable. And you see a lot of brands bringing vintage products back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love the
Adidas bring it, you know, like Reebok Classics, all that kind of stuff. So
Stan Smith is literally a retro shoe.
So I think it's like an insurgence too of nostalgia culturally that we're seeing that they're capitalizing on.
I agree, and I also think like the other underlying thing is that collaboration is a new way to innovate.
Yes.
Right, because a lot of companies they'll acquire companies to innovate, but the other thing is like you can share someone's audience.
Yes.
And you can that's the definition of influence marketing, is being able to tell a story in a way that only that influencer and their audience know how to communicate.
You know, it's great that you mentioned that, because I don't think it's talked about enough that if you think about the audiences that certain brands and products created over time, like if you thought about the shell toe Adidas when it first came out of the Air Force One, right? It's almost like those audiences get abandoned.
Wow, that's
and
true.
It's like, what happens to them? Because everybody's talking about the next thing or the future. So if that audience was so influential, you know, Nelly had songs about Air Force Ones, everybody was wearing that, just for example.
Get to stumping in my Air Force One.
It's almost like you're tapping into an abandoned audience and market that was so huge. That's almost been waiting to
literally
be celebrated
salivating
again.
for an opportunity to jump back in.
So I think it's smart too, because you're basically awakening a movement and a nostalgia and an energy around things that was forgotten about.
Yeah, and I mean, and just to even wrap this up, it's just like history repeats itself.
Yes, always.
So if it was great back then and it had this authentic tie, if you can somehow loop that in with great storytellers and something that's kind of top of mind, it's a good opportunity to jump back in, and it's worth every dollar spent and every kind of just like weight that you have to lift to get that across the finish line, man.
And I think it lastly too that shows legacy brands that some of your greatest business decisions are found in work you've already done, as opposed to always feeling like you have to create the new thing or be that innovative. Sometimes you should like hold your hat on the things that made you who you are culturally, like that made you matter so much.
Yeah, and fun fact for Coke, New Coke, who is doing a partnership with Stranger Things, when they did New Coke, I forgot what it was in the 80s, it fell flat. It was literally their worst marketing campaign of all time. And they're taking that risk to jump back in and say, hey, like Stranger Things is so strong and has such a great audience, we won't even fuck this up.
Right.
There's not a possibility of fucking it up.
Right. I think the biggest takeaway is showing brands that it's smart not to get far away from what made people fall in love with you, because that creates the opportunity to introduce something new, right? So the idea of nostalgia is a reminder of what made your brand valuable, significant, memorable culturally or in the lives of people. So when you remind them of that and they fall in love with the brand all over again, that creates a space with them and a trust with them that allows them to introduce something new that they might be intrigued by. So instead of just saying, hey, we're a brand that's been around this long, here's a new product from us, it's more so saying, hey, here's why you fell in love with us, here's why we matter, here's why we're influential, let me remind you, and then in that same moment, here's something that makes sense for you now. Here's a product that matters for you now, that still has the same energy and meaning and value that these nostalgic products have for you. I think like that's the real takeaway from this.
I love that. So guys, if you have a brand, you have a company, you gotta renew your vows.
Absolutely, that's a great way to put it.
You gotta renew your vows with your customers.
You can't get too comfortable.
You gotta take them on a honeymoon, you gotta buy them a new flashy ring, and you know, hopefully they continue to love you even more, you know, for better or for worse, until death do us part.
Hashtag forever dating, friends.
Forever dating. So folks, let us know in the comments actually, what is your favorite collaboration with Stranger Things? Is it a Nike one? Is it a Legos? Is it an upside down Whopper? Hopefully that comes with an Impossible Burger. You let us know in the comments. All right, guys. I know the hardest thing to do is to get the money.
Yes.
After that, the hardest thing to do is to keep it.
The money. Yeah.
To manage it and to keep it and not to have to give it back so much to that one guy. Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, today we're going to talk about TurboTax and how that is helpful for you, how it takes all the struggle and all the stress.
I've actually been using TurboTax.
See?
For like the past 7 years.
Right. It's simple. You're getting your 1099, your W-2s, you're getting paid under the table, you're doing some Venmo payments.
Yeah.
And you need to figure out how all that stuff needs to be categorized and sent to Uncle Sam so he can just say yes.
Makes it quick and easy. You just add it in, upload, type your information, and then quick, simple process. You have a small fee and you're all good.
You're all good. You're all set. Yeah. So let's talk about a few of the features here of TurboTax. The number one takeaway here is basically that you won't be going to jail. All right, so thank us later. So TurboTax is also guaranteed to give you your maximum refund. So you're gonna have some money in that pocket
all the way
afterwards.
turned up.
All right.
I like it because it's quick, affordable, saves all your information, can pull any documents you need that you may be missing, because it's hard to keep track of all your tax documents sometimes.
And it just explains what the heck taxes are.
Yeah, it does.
And like why you're doing these deductions. You can easily talk to someone on the phone. and it just makes it simple and painless. So
it's kind of like how GoDaddy is for domains. That's what TurboTax is for taxes.
yeah, it's just like, yo, you want to do X, Y, and Z. We want to make it as easy as possible. Press 2 or 3 buttons. Cling, cling. You got a refund. All right, guys, we got a special little segment here.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk a little bit about networking, about brand building, about talking.
Interviewing, yes.
Interviewing folks. So Julian, man, you have a masterclass on interviewing, right? Yeah. You've already interviewed the top people in culture and business across a lot of platforms, Forbes being one of them. And we work our ass off to get into rooms to talk to people.
Right.
But we gotta really make sure that we're maximizing that time.
Yeah.
So you want to just chat a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, it's a masterclass, The Art of Interviewing. So it's June 22nd to 23rd. It'll be a webinar. So people can go to gumroad.com/AOI_masterclass.
We'll throw that up.
So that's where you get the information for that. But basically, the point of it is when you have access to important people, influential people, powerful people, and you have the chance to sit in front of them and have a conversation, you have to be very intentional about that conversation and know that you are a platform that is going to provide people with information that they normally wouldn't have access to.
Right.
So when you do that, it's going through the mechanics of how do you prepare for that conversation? How do you research that person and have context when you walk into the conversation? How do you then go through it and ask the right questions and extract the right insight from that person and keep it flowing? How do you be an active listener? How do you navigate? How do you control the conversation? And then ultimately turning that into an editorial, a video, transcribing it and translating that experience into something that's valuable for people so they can take it away, right? Because there's really an art to that. Like how you make somebody comfortable, how you find yourself calm and confident and composed, how you build that confidence and that security walking into it.
Unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle. Robert, stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Ultimately, conversations truly change the way people think.
Wow,
they change the way people do business. They change the way industries work. And also, we all have a platform, right? I always say being a platform is a responsibility. Having a platform is a privilege, right? But when you become one, that's when you're trusted and you're credible when we talk about influence. So then people come to you to have those conversations and they come to you to share this information because they know you're gonna appreciate it, be intentional with it, be responsible with it, and you're gonna get the most out of them to then share with other people. So it's really about that. Like, how do you maximize those moments? How do you not take access for granted? How do you be intentional and productive and responsible with it? And ultimately, how do you turn that into something impactful so that everybody who doesn't normally have access to these people gets the most out of it as if they were sitting there with them. You know, like that's really the takeaway of what this is about. Like 90% of a great conversation is asking the right questions.
Yeah.
The other part of it is being an active listener, right? So like talking points over questions, as in have a marker of how you want to navigate something so you know where to go. But it's really about being fluid and allowing yourself to listen and know what you really want to get out of it and being able to carry that conversation and get the most out of it.
Okay, well, make sure we put that back down there so y'all go get this.
Yeah, Art of Interviewing, 6/22 to 6/23.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Chop It Up. I want to thank our special guest, my homie.
Appreciate it, of course.
Appreciate you dropping all those gems. Make sure you check out his masterclass, The Art of Interviewing.
Yep.
Whew. And folks, until next time, peace. So is there like a promo code that I can get to?